Have you ever wondered why so many people who try trading fail, while this tiny group just seems to achieve massive, consistent success? Well, today, we're diving deep into the principles of a trading mentor named Pradeep Bon. Now, this is a guy who's guided some seriously successful traders. We're talking people managing 7, 8, even 9-figure portfolios. And his insights, they reveal that the real path to profitability, it's not at all what most people think.
So, what is it? What's the real secret sauce that separates the pros from everybody else? I can tell you what it's not. It is not some secret indicator, it's not a black box algorithm you can just buy off a shelf. No, it's something way more fundamental. It starts long before you ever even think about placing a trade. And the answer lies in this framework that Pradeep Bon has spent years developing and mentoring.
And we're going to unpack it all using what we're calling the mastery pyramid. Think of it as a 3-level framework. It all builds from this strong psychological foundation, then moves up to understanding the rules of the market, and all the way to the top with the practical steps for execution. So let's start where it all begins, right at the base of the pyramid.
That one single quality that truly separates the professionals from the rest, well, it's probably not what you're expecting. And Pradeep Bon is crystal clear on this. The key to winning in the markets, it isn't about being the smartest person in the room or having the fastest computer.
And there it is, self-leadership. Not a strategy, not a fancy setup, but an internal quality. You know, for so many traders who are always hunting for the next hot strategy, this is a huge shift in thinking. But according to Bon, success in the markets is an inside job, period.
So, let's lay the foundation of our pyramid. Because before you can even think about mastering the markets game, you have got to conquer your inner game. This is the bedrock. It's all about your psychology and your mindset.
So what exactly is self-leadership? Well, think of it as the drive to be your own guide. It's about not waiting for somebody else to hand you the answers, but having the guts and the belief that you can find them yourself. You know, instead of blaming the market for a bad trade, a trader with strong self-leadership looks in the mirror. They analyze their own decisions to figure out where they went wrong and how to fix it. And you can see this play out so clearly right here. The pro, they're process-oriented. They are obsessed with perfect execution and rock-solid consistency. The beginner, well, they're usually profit-oriented. They're chasing the shiny objects, what Bondi hilariously calls the Ferraris and bikini-clad women. And that focus on the outcome, instead of the process, is pretty much a guaranteed recipe for blowing up an account. And this quote just brilliantly illustrates a huge part of the inner game, because even the best traders fall into psychological traps. This one's called the God syndrome, that feeling you get after a massive win, where you feel invincible. It's a classic example of how your emotions can totally sabotage you. Mastering your inner game means you can spot these traps coming. A true self-leader knows a drawdown is probably around the corner, and they have the discipline to cut their size way down or even just walk away to reset.
Okay, so we've got that solid psychological foundation in place. Now it's time to climb to the next level of our pyramid, mastering the market's game. These are the big strategic principles that are going to guide how you actually interact with the market.
Now here's a take on profitability that a lot of traders just get wrong. While those giant home run trades might make up 70, maybe even 80% of your profit for the year, they are incredibly rare. The reality is you live on the singles, those small, consistent 2 or 3% wins. Those are the base hits that keep you in the game, keep you mentally sharp, and, this is key, they finance the big trades, so you're not sweating bullets.
Next up, you have to understand the type of move you're actually trading. A magnitude move is that fast, explosive gain, while a duration move is slow and steady. And here's the crucial insight. Write this down. Fast moves tend to mean revert. They snap back, while slow moves tend to persist. So what does that mean for you? It means if you're in a lightning-fast magnitude move, you better be ready to take profits quickly. But if you're in a slow, grinding duration move, that might be one you can hold for a lot longer.
You gotta fish where the fish are, right? Bon is absolutely adamant about this. You must trade what the market cares about right now. These are the stocks that are in play, usually in the hottest sectors. I mean, think about the massive moves we've seen in things like AI or biotech. So how do you find them? Easy. Follow the volume. It's the most objective signal you have for where the crowd's attention is focused.
All right, we've covered the mindset, we've covered the market's strategic principles. Now, let's go to the very top, the peak of the pyramid, and talk about the practical path to developing true world-class expertise in trading.
So, how many different setups do you think you need to master to become a consistently profitable trader? 5? 10? Maybe more? The actual answer, well, it might just shock you.
Just one. For an entire decade,
Let that sink in. This is the raw power of deep specialization. Most beginners take what you could call a Chinese buffet approach, right? They try a little bit of everything, and they end up mastering absolutely nothing. This quote is the essence of deliberate practice. You focus on one single, well-defined skill, and you just hammer away at it until you understand it inside and out.
And he gives a super clear 3-step path to get there. First, don't try to reinvent the wheel. Find a proven strategy from a trader who's already successful and just copy it. Then, for the next 1 to 2 years, your only job is to execute that formula until you get consistent results. And only then, once you've built that solid foundation, can you start to improvise and make it your own. And this is where self-leadership comes right back in, having the discipline to follow a proven path before you go trying to forge your own.
Now, to speed up that whole process, Bon recommends starting with higher frequency trading. Why? Simple. You get an immediate feedback loop. I mean, compare that to swing trading, where you might only take a few trades a month. The feedback loop is so much slower, and it can literally take years to get the same number of reps that a more active trader gets in just a few months.
And finally, a core principle on this path to mastery is just healthy skepticism. Don't trust, verify. Look, there are countless horror stories of traders who just blindly followed some popular guru's signals, only to realize that guru was just using them as exit liquidity. This is exactly why you have to do your own deep dive. Never, ever blindly trust anyone. Go back, look at hundreds of historical charts, and see for yourself if the data actually supports the idea.
So, we've made the journey. We've gone from a psychological foundation all the way up to the strategic peak of the trading mastery pyramid. Now, let's bring it all home and talk about how you can actually take that very first crucial step on your own path.
So when you boil it all down, what's the formula for trading mastery? Well, it's actually a pretty simple 3-part equation. You start with the foundation, self-leadership. Then you build the framework, focusing on your process, not the profits. And finally, you execute with deep, specialized expertise in just one setup.
Look, this isn't just theory. It's a real, actionable blueprint for success. So the only real question left is, when you look at this pyramid, which one of these principles are you going to focus on mastering first? Just remember, this whole journey to trading mastery, it's a marathon, not a sprint. By focusing on one principle at a time, you can build a rock-solid foundation for long-term success. Your journey starts right now.